This conference will now be recorded.
Very good evening, everyone. On behalf of our Secretary General, Dr. G.P. Agarwal and Dr. Sanjeev Layak, Executive Secretary WASME, heartily welcome Mr. Anshav Jain, Founder, MD, Bringle, for contributing his valuable and precious time to make available for live webinar. Series 2, Idea to Unicorn, a $1 billion dream, sales and marketing with customer delight. My special thanks to Mr. Anshav Jain for partnering WASME in this webinar. I also welcome all the dignitaries who have taken out valuable time to participate in this webinar. Let me brief about WASME, a global organization having member representatives in more than... Hello, am I audible, sir?
Yes, audible.
Let me brief about WASME, a global organization having member representatives in more than 100 countries, spearheading the cause and development and promotion of SMEs worldwide through policy advocacy, information dissemination, conferences, seminars, events, trainings, publication, network linkages, and many more since 1980. WASME has the consultative and observer status of United Nations. When it comes to what is going on in the world today due to COVID-19 pandemic, there are two levels of disruptions when it comes to the businesses. Firstly, the routine sales, meets and travel, and softer aspect of closing a deal, especially for B2B, where a face-to-face discussion with key stakeholders or a dine and meet is key to iron out contours of a deal. Secondly, a drop in demand from clientele in certain sectors like travel, hospitality, timeshare, aviation would see a corresponding steep drop in their interest levels to carry on with many business functions, and every other sector will be in a conservative mode and less keen to spend. As this pandemic has disrupted businesses including MSMEs, no clue when and how it stops. I am not going in detail as we have esteemed guests to discuss on our live webinar series 2, Idea to Unicorn, a $1 billion dream. Today's topic is sales and marketing with customer delight. Let me introduce Mr. Anshav Jain, founder and MD, Bringle Academy, is a corporate professional with 18 plus years of experience with expertise in business process, re-engineering and transformation, strategy planning, automations and RPA, deployment and change management. He has executed 1,000 plus projects with $100 plus million hard savings to organize through his interventions. Anshav is Anshav is a Lean Six Sigma MBB and MPA certified professional. Worked with CFI, Reliance, WNS, SR, and TCS, and has been a serial entrepreneur and has established 5 startups and mentored dozens of startups in this sector. May I invite Mr. Jain to put his through on this topic? I would like to welcome Mr. Jain, please. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Megha, for such a kind introduction. Okay, thanks for making me the presenter. Okay, welcome all of you once again, and really thanks for, and really excited to see all of you. And last time we spoke about thought leadership, how thought leadership could be helpful for you in growing and establishing your business. And today I'm going to talk a little bit more about the 4 stages of the entire, structure of this program or this webinar, which we are going to. So there is always going to be a 3-stage process. You have to first of all sustain yourself. You have to then adapt to the current scenarios, whichever is there. So whichever is coming in, like in post-COVID scenario, you have to adapt to the new conditions. Like Megha mentioned, that travel, airlines, your event industries, hospitality industries, all are taking a big shift and they are closing down. But there are many organizations with whom we have worked where they have got even stabilized with their current businesses. And I'm talking about such bit of a printing industry, some bit of a, the industries which are into event space, or they're having a, banquet halls and things like that. So these kind of industries, how they are surviving now, even in these tough times, and how they're able to sustain themselves and adapt to the new scenarios, and how they can convert their businesses from a normal physical business with a localized manner to a more global and more more online businesses into that. And that is what the new adaptation which you need to do. Once you reach to that level, there is a no problem of scalability. You can really scale it up. The entire world is open for you, and that is where you will be able to really take up your business from a, because right now most of the businesses are getting down, so you'll have to take it up from the idea level, take it to the eventually up to the unicorn. This is what the 5 levels which we spoke about last time as well, and I just want to give a little background on that. And one is when you start your business, and this is start with a very small product, which we call it as extreme value proposition. Many of you would have heard about the product, the main product, or maybe a POC as a concept, but that is actually comes in with a minimum viable product, which should be your second level of project. So let's say, for an example, if you're planning to set up a mobile application, or for as your main product or as your POC product, you should not even go to the POC product of that. You should actually look at something like a normal website which gives you more information about the business, and you start reaching out to your targeted audience by understanding their problems little better, and that will help you to modify your product in a much better manner. And slowly you move up to the second level, wherein you get your minimum viable product. And when you get your minimum viable product, you have more customers, then you take them to your main product, which is the main offering. And once you reach to that main offering, you will have enough set of customers. Then you kind of develop your unique value proposition. You actually create unique value in the ecosystem. Your project will become investment friendly. Your project will become customer friendly, and you will never have challenges with respect to either sales or investment. The final stage which comes in, which is your scaling up your venture, which is your black belt, and wherein you can actually grow your business from local to regional, regional to national, and national to global. And that is where you will be set onto the path of becoming a unicorn. After the COVID, 15 of the SoftBank unicorns have actually got bankrupt, and they had to close it out because they were not ready with the blended models. They were not ready with such kind of exigencies. They have not diversified themselves into different things which they could have done. And all of that makes very important when you get into slowly a customer base, when you adapt to the new scenarios onto that. So your business model has to be changed completely in these tough times now. We spoke about this 21 days business sustainability challenge, which was huge success for us, which has happened. And we will be now taking this further into the next level, how we can help MSMEs and business owners to support on that, because startups work in a very different model. But when it comes to MSMEs, it has to be very a ground level support which we need to provide it to them. We need to understand their challenges, their business models. Like one of the MSME we were talking about, they're into selling these batteries. Now they don't have any business right now, and currently when we were talking to them, what we have suggested to them is, till now, because right now nobody is buying batteries because people are sitting at home and they feel that they may not need those kind of batteries, and they have very good batteries which they are running in terms of the lesser cost, better life, the good quality and all those aspects. However, how they can engage even in this tough times and start generating a business. Now think about a scenario, and this is what they are doing it right now, is they start running some online campaigns wherein they go to the various house owners who are using these batteries and take their feedback and understanding in terms of what could be their challenges. They may start with a small servicing component. They may start with some providing them some small, component of the battery, maybe a different chemical, maybe some kind of challenges. They can make them aware about the good battery life conditions, and everybody would have faced some kind of a challenges with their batteries, or somebody would have faced into that. And once they have got them onboarded, if they help them out to grow their business and help them out to help them out to solve the crisis of the battery problems, then eventually once they need the new battery, whom they will come to? They will come to that particular person only. It might take a month or 2 or 3, but you will be able to sustain that business in a very easier manner onto that. The another example which you could look at in this model is something called, if you're selling turmeric, for that example, it's a very simple example which I generally give. If you are selling a turmeric in a B2C domain, you cannot sell turmeric directly to your customer. What you need to do is you need to tell them the health benefits of having turmeric with them. If you make customer aware about the benefits of turmeric on health basis, whenever they will need turmeric, they will definitely come to you, because you are the one who have given them understanding on what kind of benefits turmeric can have. Similarly, if you're running this business, selling this turmeric to a B2B business, to a B2B customer, then you have to tell your B2B customer how they can increase their turmeric selling. And once they're able to increase their turmeric selling, and if they need some turmeric from that, they will come back to you. So you have to eventually help your customer to make sure that your customer wins entirely in this game, and then your business will survive with no problems at all, and those customers will trust you more than anybody else. So that is the one mantra of getting the best sales and marketing. In today's scenario, selling doesn't work. Selling doesn't work. Nobody is going to buy from you if you directly go and sell and promote yourself. You may spend lots of money on advertisements and paid ads, but it may or may not work. And that is where these are the 4-step process, which is going to be very important for any successful business owner today. One which we spoke about last time, which is thought leadership. Thought leadership is something about where you understand the value, what you can give it to the customer. What do what is that customer really feels as a problem for themselves. If you are able to identify that problem area for them and then give them a solution of that without even talking about your product, that will build up trust in front of the customer. But if you keep selling it, keep going and sending, throwing your ads or products to them, they may not get comfortable with you, and in fact they will get more away from you. So remember, this thought leadership is not about selling your product or leading a large team. Thought leadership is more about understanding your customer, understanding what they need. And that is where you need a more understanding of that value proposition. We'll definitely talk about the steps as well onto that. But before I move forward, I just want to know who was there in the last session, so that I am aware that what kind of people, if I have to repeat certain things or not. Type yes, type me if you were there in the last session. Shubhshri says me, Shaklan says me, Priyadarshini was there. Okay, who else? Only 3 people. No, Shaklan says no, he was not there. Okay, anybody else? Okay, so I think looks like many of them are pretty new right now. Kadambani says, me, I was there. Very good. Thank you so much for your affirmation, because that really helps me out. And the first thing which I understand, which I really appreciate, and that makes you as a thought leader, is taking some actions. And if you are able to take some really great actions, and just by replying the basic messages, you will actually gain much more than what you can think of. And that is why that is called engagement, a way of I would say experiential learning program. It's not a lecture, it's not a college program which we are trying to run here. We are trying to help you out. So thanks to all of you who have taken action and confirmed me on the same. The second aspect which we are going to speak about today is customer delight, which basically is nothing but the concept have totally changed today. In earlier times, we used to talk about sales and marketing. Today, we are talking about customer delight. If you sell something to a customer and customer is not happy, it may backfire you very, very badly. Your entire business model can go completely wrong. And you need to be very, very clear on that you start working with very few customers initially, fine tune your business model, and eventually find out your very, customers who have a complete trust on you. They love you for your product. They love you for your service. They love you for the way you handle maintain the relationships. And that is where the customer delight is important. And when you talk about customer delight, it has to be both with respect to internal, which is your employees, and with respect to your external customers. The third aspect, which we are going to talk about the next week, I'm just giving you a little perspective out there. Once you start getting customers, once you have to make sure that your processes are set, your technology is being right, you have the right systems available so that you can scale up the venture. Otherwise, you will be able to, otherwise what will happen is you will become employee of your own organization, which we call as self-employed. You are a business owner. You should know how to handle teams. You should know how to hire the right people. You should know how to retain people in your organization. And that can happen only if you have the right thought leadership. People see you as a leader. And so you understand the customer very well. And basis on that, customers are very happy and they keep coming back to you. Once they keep coming back to you, you need to set up the right processes. You need to set up the right systems, the right KPIs, the benchmarks, so that you can monitor the progress over and over again. And the final stage comes in. Once you set up that, you will have to ensure that your business has no waste available in the system. You develop the entire value streaming. You create the value proposition, that how it is getting benefit to the customer, how much customer is feeling the value of your product. You might have given to him in 10 rupees or maybe 100 rupees or maybe $10 or $100. But is the customer feeling that they have got the value? Maybe $1,000, maybe $5,000 or $500. So what is the value they perceive out of it? What is the value or benefit they have perceived out of that product? Is also you need to be ascertained so that you can define your price accordingly. Check your competitors, how they are doing it, what they are doing it, similar industry, what's happening. So try and understand all these aspects, and wherever you need support, we are available. For Vasme is definitely there to support you out in terms of going through this entire process. Now, there are three stages, which works out into this, which is your product market fit strategy, which you need to do. One, you need to identify the target segment. You need to define the right level of product levels. There are 5 levels of product, which I will talk about it. Go to market strategy, how you will go into the market and work it out. Currently, the conditions we are in, we are actually back to the revised idea stage. All our businesses which have gone, maybe, the businesses have now stopped or maybe not working that much. Maybe the sales are not too much. You have to make a change in your business model. You have to come back to your drawing boards. You have to come back with the idea level and see how you can use this opportunity to grow this business further onto that. Everybody is worried about selling. So I would want to know out here who feels that I do not like sales, and whoever says that I do not like sales to be done, please type me. I don't like sales to be done, by the way. So I also would want to say that. So who else feels that they do not like to do sales? Usharani says me. She feels that sales she doesn't like. I also actually don't like sales, so I would say me. Who else? Everybody loves sales otherwise. Shubshari, Saurav. Okay, who else? Why does selling has such a negative association with it? And I think you would have heard about saying people, I really don't want to sell because it looks like that I am giving I am selling something really not good to the people. My product might or might not be able to help to that people, for the customers. Why I'm asking money for that? I don't like asking money for the same. And that is why most of our business owners today try to put salespersons out there in between their customers and themselves, and they're completely dependent on the sales teams. However, there's one thing which we have realized always, that you as a business owner are the brand of your company. Unless you are able to talk about your products, unless you're able to understand the customer benefits of the value which you are able to create, you will always feel selling is bad. Now tell me one thing, and I want to talk to you everybody. What if from today onwards you do not need to sell, but you still keep getting business? Will that be a good situation? Type good if you want that kind of situation for yourself. You do not have to sell now. You will have to only create value in the ecosystem, and customers will keep coming and buying it from you. Who wants that situation for your businesses? Type me. Type good idea, very good. Type good idea, me, whoever, whatever you want to say. Buying, let the customers come and buy. You focus on customer delight. You don't have to go out and sell. And what if I tell you that you do not have to sell here onwards? Customers will come and buy. And remember, there are three types of customers which comes in when it happens. One, and you have to remember this in the selling process. I'm not saying that the completely selling will not happen, but don't sell it to the wrong customer. A wrong customer is way more harmful than having less customers who really trust you. Sometimes growing up the business, we try getting back to the customers, and one customer negative feedback can spoil your entire business model, can give a wrong impression to the entire market, and it can spoil your reputation. There are three types of customers which you should be very clear upon, and you should be very careful whom you are selling that. The one set of customers which are called as cold leads. How many of you are aware about this cold leads? Type cold. Who does the cold calling in your business? Type cold if you are aware about cold idea, cold leads. So nobody is aware. Nobody is aware. I'm really sorry. So the cold leads are those leads which have just come to you to understand about your product or service. They are still not a prospect. They do not have interest in your product. They are not even your customer. They do not even want to buy a product. They would have heard about you, somewhere, and they have come into your, network, and they are just coming to you and asking about certain information. So it is like if you are selling solar power batteries, and you have shared somewhere that solar power batteries are good. You've written an article, and this person comes to you. He's just curious about right now about solar powered batteries. He may or may not have a requirement of a battery. He's just a cold lead. At that time, never ever sell it to that. This is one big problem which we do. As soon as you would have seen many of the WhatsApp groups, people keep coming and keep pushing their products. They just push their ads over there. You would have seen that as soon as somebody comes to you for asking for us, for your product, you immediately say, why don't you buy this product and take it? It is very good and all that. You keep telling them so many things. Please do not sell it to them. These are the leads. These are only the leads which are come to you just to test you out, just to get more information. They're not ready to buy. And these are the people you should never sell. And that is the reason when we sell to these people and when they don't come back, we feel that the selling is not good. We feel that sales doesn't work. I don't have right customers. So never ever sell to those customers. Then the second set of customers where you can graduate your customers from one level to the second level, which called warm audience. So the first one was cold leads. The second one is warm prospects. I'm typing it out into the chat window. When your cold leads comes in, after discussion, after understanding, if you feel that they really have a need, you educate them about that. You tell them that what could be the benefit of a solar power battery, but do not sell. If customer feels that yes, I might be using a solar power battery, I might be looking at it, then you give them more details about your battery or a product. Do not push at this point in time at itself also. Do not share your price point because customer may make up a point or a decision that they may not want to buy it. So warm prospects has to be further nurtured. They have to be graduated to the next level, which is called as hot customers. So convert your leads to prospects, prospects to customers, and very carefully track each and every customer. Never ever sell to cold leads. Never ever share prices to prospects. And once they're ready to buy, once they say, I would like to buy something like this, this is really my need, you are also very sure that by buying this 20,000 rupees of battery, they may get benefit of saving, let's say, a comfort saving, because their family is always been struggling with the high electricity bills. Probably it can help them save 5 to 7 or 10,000 or 20,000 rupees per month of electricity income. Sorry, electricity revenue expenses. That is a real value. It's a hot customer for you. Many of the time, solar power batteries or solar power transmission system, they've actually helped house owners to give the electricity back to the electricity board. Find out that value, and that is why your value proposition has to be very, very clear. If your value proposition is clear, you do not have to sell. If you're able to convert your cold leads by educating them to warm prospects, customers, when they reach out to the hot customers level, they automatically will say, where do I sign? How do I pay? And sometimes at that time, the selling becomes as simple as, sir, how would you like to pay, cash or check? That is what you are converting your unique selling proposition to a unique buying proposition. So remember, selling is having a bad, negative association with it because we sell it to the wrong people. Who are the wrong people? We are selling it to cold leads. They're not ready. Please do not sell it to them. And this your entire sales team should be knowing about it. Most of the times what we get teaching in our sales and marketing training programs in colleges or the schools or wherever it is, they don't tell you how to nurture the clients. They give you a very higher level funda. It doesn't work. But this kind of technique you as a business owner can apply. You as an individual business owner, you as a sales team, you can teach them. You can become a brand. nurture them, and you should handle your customers yourself, at least the hot customers. Use your team to build it up from cold leads to warm prospects to hot customers, and build up your, you should be very, very clear about the value proposition. Do not sell it to the customer who may not be your customer. Cold leads are not your customers. Warm prospects are not your customers. They're just trying to understand more about you. Who feels this is good proposition? Please write good. If you feel that this is going to be the good proposition, you have learned something, then please write something, what you have learned about it till now. Tell me whatever you have in your mind coming in. What do you think that why selling is not good? Where you feel that you were not doing something good? Type it out, whatever you feel, into the chat window. I would like to know before moving forward. What one thing you have learned out of it? I'm waiting. I have 25 people on this forum today. At least 5 responses are worth seeing that. People don't buy anything from us. That's a point where we feel bad. So it's a bad point of selling. Absolutely. The reason why people are not buying from you because they are not your customers or they are not ready. If we sell a thermos flask, a hot thermos flask, to somebody who is probably staying in a hot climate, that person may not like it. But if you sell a cold water bottle, the person will definitely buy it. That is your customer. So define your customers very strongly, very clearly. What is the value proposition it is for them? What are their problem statements? And how do we do it? Remember, there is a difference between a customer, influencer, and user. Now, if you are running a school, your customer is the person who pays for the school fees, which is the parent. The user is the student, the child. Influencer could be your the other parents. It could be the other, it could be your teachers, your tuition coaching classes. Anybody could be an influencer. Narrow down your target segment. Do not try and sell to everybody. I can sell this to children, school children also. I can send this to college students also. I can send this to corporates also. I can send it to MSMEs also. Yes, you can do it to everybody, but every target segment has a different problem area. Find out that problem area for them and define whether it is B2B business or a B2C business. Accordingly, you have to define your value proposition. See how they're currently solving their problems. How different is your product or service by which they can solve their problems better? And this is how you create the value proposition. Typically what Apple does and how the other computer does. The difference between Apple value proposition is they sell dreams. People buy because of emotions. People do not buy because they need them. People buy because of the emotions attached to it. If you are able to connect with their emotion, they will buy. What is the emotion which Apple gives to people? Is great quality products as something which nobody can have thought about it. That is what challenging the status quo. The way it runs, I will challenge. They challenge it, And why? How do they do it? By developing the world-class technology. And yes, they make computers, then they make iPhones, they make many other things. People buy emotions, they do not buy product. And that is why you need to have look value from the eyes of the customer. Define why would they buy your product. It could be a price point, quality, or a support. How would your product solve their problems? What can you offer them differently, which is not being provided by other products? List their tangible and intangible benefits, how much amount they might be spending on saving to solve their problems. Quantify the benefits in more detail and do a comparative competition analysis. If you link value proposition to your sales and marketing team and ensure the 3 level of customer graduation system, you will never have to sell. Customers will come and buy from you because you have made them ready. Your selling effort will reduce as high as 80 to less than, it will come down to 20-30%. How many of times you would have seen that your sales team is just working helter-skelter and no response coming, no customer is coming, you are shouting on them, you are trying hard, but nobody is buying it from you, even though you know that the customer might be having a need. How many of you experienced that? Type I have if you have experienced such things in your business. Nobody has such kind of experience. Okay, so I think I will take a pause out here now, and I will open up the session for discussions, and then if required, we'll take it forward.
So anyone want to ask any question? Anshu sir, let's wait for 5-10 minutes for the question, I think so.
No problem. If somebody wants anything, they can ask.
So everyone, floor is open for the question answer round. You can ask any question from Anshav sir.
Anshav ji, I have a question. We have a 150-seater. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, sir.
I have a 150-seat call center in Bhubaneswar.
Okay.
And the problem is when these telecallers, they call, most of the time the customers give such vibes that they are discouraged. And they feel their morale is coming down. Our product, which is manufactured by us and also delivered with a government platform. We are running the Smart City Livelihood Center along with Bhubaneswar Municipal Corporation. And this is being promoted. We have e-rickshaws, our call center. This call center is jointly with Software Technology Park of India.
Okay.
I'm fortunate to join your webinar because many of times I have missed Sanjeev ji's webinar being conducted, but today let me take the privilege to vent out my idea that how do these telecallers don't get demotivated, and the last part, the question you said, many times they get rejections.
Right.
The customers not ready to buy. That was a very valid point you are making. Could you please explain more on it so that they can convert it into a positive lead?
So I am not sure if you have studied the BPO call center business. Okay, the way it has changed now, you would have also been receiving a lot of calls for credit cards or loans and things like that, right?
Yes, yes.
How do you feel about it?
Totally, we say, I don't call me later. I don't have right now in a meeting, or we try to avoid them.
So frankly speaking, you have been very polite, but there were times, and I've seen very irritated people literally blasting them and giving them, sometimes even giving them various different ways too, so that they don't call back. But frankly, those employees are only doing their job, right? But we feel bad about it. So in my entire proposition, who is your target segment out here?
All domestic consumers.
Domestic consumers. And what is the product?
We have a range of hygiene products like toilet cleaner, dishwash, hand wash, and then sanitary napkins, face masks. Then we have nutritional product like mushroom buddy, mushroom noodle, mushroom pasta. We have a range of other FMCG products and all, agarbattis, mosquito repellent. I have several units.
Okay, great.
And we have,
so I think I got your point. I got your point. I got your point. See, I think what you should do is, first of all, do a little comparative analysis and do a little feedback what people are doing in and what the conversion they are doing. So let's say there is a cold lead. Okay, do not even try to sell them anything to them. First of all, try and understand whether the customer has a need also or not. You might be reaching out to 10,000 people because you've got a 150 plus call center people out there. Now think about it. These guys are blindly doing calls. You are spending money with them. You are paying salaries to them. You are paying salary, infrastructure cost. You are doing the calling. That cost is also there. The electricity, all that cost is definitely there. 150 plus member team is not a small team. And everybody, what is the conversion rate? Have you realized that? What is the cost per lead? Have you calculated that?
Yes, that's what I'm literally suffocating, bleeding, just able to suffice their norms. Even we are going on losses since 1.5 years.
So
we are not able to meet our infrastructural cost also.
Because your entire effort is going, which used to work 10 years ago. Believe me, if you follow this process of cold leads to warm prospects to hot customers, you will reduce your cost by at least 20 to 30% and improve your business conversion by at least 20 to 30%. It could be more also. I'm just giving you a very random figure right now. But what I understand is divide your first of all team into 3 levels. Okay. This is what I can upfront tell you right now, based on my experience with other BPOs or call centers. Okay, what they do as a mistake when it comes to sales and marketing. But when we can have an offline discussion to understand if you need more details around it, that what can be done, because I'll need more details. But broadly, what you can do is and try implementing this. Split your team into 3 teams. First of all, the entire 150 member team. Keep one team members which is only gathering information or capturing the requirements of the customer. You're not selling any product to them.
Right.
And make them go to those places where these these customers are basically congregating. So let's say if they are going to some a mall or an e-commerce store or a Flipkart, somewhere they must be going in, right? So somewhere you must be getting the data. Reach out to them the first time when you get the data. Cleanse it first. Reach out to them with a survey. Maybe you can throw up an email. You don't need to call them. Why do you waste the time and energy on that?
Right.
Set up an emailer process. Develop, once you get some form, fill up a Google form, or maybe you develop within your platform. If you have something, you can develop within that, or use the normal Google form. Get a survey done within those database. Who are the potential warm prospects for you? So these are all cold. Even these are not leads. This is one level below the leads database. First of all, convert them into a leads, potential leads. So there you take a survey and don't talk about your products. Talk about, so let's say if you're selling a FMCG product, create a product-wise survey around it, or maybe categorize them. That okay, do you need, from where do you buy your home products? What price do you buy? Would you be interested in getting a product which is cheaper in cost or better quality products? Something like that, a survey form you can create with them. That emailer, you put it on an auto mode with all the database. From there, whenever you get some leads coming in, from there some surveys will come in. That means people are having interest, or they have at least read your emails. From them, then you build it up, then you call them. You probably even call them and say, sir, you have said this. What are your challenges coming in? Why do you want to change this? And then probably develop them into a warm prospect. That team should be a very completely different team. Then you segment your another team who will, once your prospect is developed, you send it to the another team of yours who will further nurture them or graduate them to the hot customers. Never ever ask your front end employees to directly sell.
Correct.
And that way you can keep the morale of the employees also, and you will see suddenly your filtration process will change, your conversion will increase, and eventually it will become your hot. And once that hot customers becomes in that, okay, they need it, they have understood more about the product, they want something like this, then your final team who is very strong in customer engagement, customer conversion, you ask them to convert. And that is the time. And remember, you have to make sure that during the prospecting stage, you give them enough information about your company, enough confidence about your company, so that they will ultimately buy. And once they graduate to the hot customers lead, then only you sell it to them. You will have to do a bit of a selling, but don't do it at the first level itself. Try doing this within that entire perspective, shift these teams and have KPIs, have numbers. What is your cost per lead? What is the conversion happening from prospect, from your database to cold leads to warm prospect to your hot customers or hot leads, and from there how many are getting converted. Do this on a daily basis. Have the dashboards created for you, and you should be personally reviewing it. Only the dashboards. I'm not asking you to go at a down level. You should be on the top of these numbers. Your managers should be on the top of these numbers. Your leaders should be in the top of these numbers. If you want any time, any point in the day, you should be asking there. Your team should be able to tell you that these are my conversion percentage. These are the customers. Today, this much of revenue has come in. This is what my pipeline is there. What do you mean by pipeline? Pipeline is not what your database is. Pipeline is what you have from what your people sitting in hot customers. You cannot sell it to warm prospect or cold leads, and that is the problem which you are doing. And that is why employee morale will go wrong, because people will suddenly say, and somebody might be abusing your employees also. Not everybody can be very normal or good in terms of talking. It would have happened with us also. Like we are frustrated and suddenly somebody calls up and say, "यार तुम्हें कुछ और काम नहीं है क्या?"
नहीं बहुत you have meaningfully addressed my query, this question. You have meaningfully addressed. Thank you very much. And
my pleasure.
Best wishes also.
Thank you so much. No problem. Yeah, anybody has another question? Please feel free to do that, because it's
Anybody wants to ask any other question? Sir, I don't think so. Anybody have questions?
No problem. I'm happy that Sanjay ji has asked
We can
something
wait
and
for
he has
2 more
got his
minutes. No
answer.
issues. We can wait for 2 more
Sure,
minutes.
sure. And don't bother about any question. Even if you are working individually, you have just thinking to start up your business. You might be a trainer, you might be a coach, you might be trying to set up a you might just have an idea. You might be sitting at home right now trying to start your business. You might have a business in travel which has got shut down. You might have a business in event and any kind of question. So if you want to that, how do you want to start your business now in this time? How can I utilize this next 3 months to ensure that my business is my business starts generating revenue? How can I cut down my cost? How can I increase my sales? Why my sales teams are not working? There can be any questions.
Mr. Jeev, can I be privileged to take another question?
Sanjay ji, sure, I'll be happy.
The thing is, how effective is digital marketing? See, we are doing calling and email marketing also. We are doing it partly, but mostly into calling. But many people are suggesting to go for digital campaigns and all. And what are the effective medias tools? Which all Facebook promotion, or you may suggest better. I'd like you to intervene on this.
So Sanjay ji, see, Facebook, LinkedIn all wants money from the ads. Okay. If you go to the Facebook today and creating something out there and you sell it, believe me, I have, there are many businesses which I've seen. They have even spent 70,000 rupees to 100,000, 1 lakh rupees, or even there are businesses like your companies like your Udemy and all. They used to spend 10 lakh rupees, 20 lakh rupees per month on ads. They have never got business, or they are doing it because they're invested. They have money with them. Okay. Remember one thing, brand building doesn't happen with selling ads. What you need to do is you need to ensure your positioning, brand positioning. Do you have a Facebook page?
Yeah. We have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all pages are there. We
How
have
active it is? How active it is?
Yes, I have put a team of 6 people for dedicatedly digital. Abhi ye shuru kiya very recently, the last 3 days. I am going in for that, and that will be handled. We have a e-com portal also. And how do we really integrate to get because our products are extremely good, not extremely, the best, but we are not able to pitch it rightly directly to customer. I don't want to shelf it. We have our product placed at modern trade everywhere, but I want to focus it direct to customer with a lot of incentive benefit. Will give gifts those who purchase worth 1,500 rupees. They get gifts for the next month and all those schemes and all gifts. I want to pass it on to the customer. You have any good tip how to promote sales?
So Sanjay ji, I think your business requires a complete transformation, in my opinion. So we can have an offline chat on this. I would request if Dr. Sanjeev can connect us separately. But I'll tell you a broad level aspect. Do not sell on social media. The good companies never sell on social media. Have you seen any company, Hindustan Lever or anybody coming on social media and saying, buy my Lux product at 500, at just 79 rupees? Because they have money. But what they do is they sell the dream first. They sell the emotion. So do not sell the product on the social media. Sell the dream. What they sell by bringing Aishwarya Rai or Sushmita Sen is that if you have this soap, you will become beautiful like them. They're selling the emotion. So your digital team should be selling the emotion, and from where the emotion will come, it will come from your value proposition document. create a value proposition document, sell it on, sell that emotion on social media. Once people buy the emotion, then automatically your sale will happen. So let's say I was telling you example of turmeric. Now you want to sell a turmeric. You cannot directly go and say buy my turmeric, because there are thousands of manufacturers who are there. But if you tell somebody that how to have health benefits by using turmeric, you educate them first. You educate your customers. You build up trust with them. You tell them that, haldi, having a turmeric milk can improve your skin quality by 20%. I mean, I'm giving you a random number, it could be different.
Harsha, we will educate and they will buy others product as well. वो हमसे सुन
Let
लेंगे
them-
कि टर्मरिक बहुत बढ़िया प्रोडक्ट है, बहुत बेनिफिट है, but they will go for any other brand as well now. So our
वो तो अभी भी हो रहा है ना,
हमारे efforts तो futile हो जाएंगे.
वो तो अभी भी हो रहा है. But not everybody would be educating the customers. Everybody must be selling them. Now tomorrow you will have a customer target segment. You cannot go to the every target segment onto that. So let's say you have a localized area wherever your supplies are available. You have to target that customer, educate that customer, and you have to allow that customer to reach out to you for more information. Engage customers further. Once you engage them, so how will you engage? You will educate them that there is a benefit in using turmeric by having a turmeric milk, and if you use that, you will be able to gain benefits in terms of your skin health, or COVID में आपको protection होगा, whatever is that. Now, once they get engaged, they would want to know more. So there you are educating the customer, or you are actually putting up something called lead magnets. From there, you build it up and bring it into your ecosystem. And that is where those customers have to pick up. There is something called retargeting in Facebook ads. So people who have shown interest or view your things, or people who have filled up some Google form, get the Google form filled up basis on their things. So at least you have their database. That database, you give it to your cold lead set team. And that cold leads then eventually take it to warm prospect, warm to hot customers. Again, engage customers. Nobody is going to buy just like that. And even if they want to buy, at that point in time, you will have your own set of customers as well. So engage them in more benefits. Tell them what are the more benefits. Why do you think that, Lux and everywhere, Hindustan Lever, Lux and all that does is go and sponsor in beauty shows, beauty pageants? Because that's where the target segment is. So anyways, we can discuss more about it in detail, because it requires a more detailed approach.
Well, sir, thank you.
And what we can do is we can look at different engagement. You create this entire value proposition first. You create your selling practices. You identify those things and try it out. Just educate the customers. Don't sell directly, and engage them. You will have your better responses, and integrate with your 3 teams, which I'm mentioning.
3 different domains will make.
Right, and make sure that the cold leads team should not be selling anything.
Only educating, interacting, communicating, these things. And second level, segregating,
Right.
third level.
Absolutely. So your cold leads is only filtering out the prospects, could be interested people, educating them. So cold leads would be educating. Prospect team would be, will be actually what you say, engaging them further onto the next level. And your customer team or client engagement team will be actually converting them. You will have a very good response. Try this out, and if you still feel some help is required, we can correct offline.
Thanks.
Anshu sir, let's move towards vote of thanks.
Sure.
We will just a moment. We will add Mr. Misra in the WhatsApp group so that he can have another round of chats over there, and he can
All
resolve
right,
his
sir.
problem also. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
All of you.
You can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure, sure.
Yes, Megha, you can go for vote of thanks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I, on behalf of World Association for Small and Medium Enterprises, it's a great honor to propose the vote of thanks to all guest speakers, participants, and WASME team. I would like to thank our distinguished speaker, Mr. Anshav Jain, founder of Bringle, for making excellent presentation and making this webinar interesting and meaningful. I would like to express, I would also like to thank our Honorable Secretary General WASME, Dr. G.P. Agarwal, and Executive Secretary Dr. Sanjeev Layak for support and guidance. Once again, thank you all of you for making this webinar successful with your contribution. Thank you, Anshav sir. Thanks a lot for your wonderful webinar series 2. And thanks to all
Thank
the
you so much.
participants. Thanks, sir.
And we are looking forward
Thank
to
you.
your series 3.
Yes, sir.
Sure,
Yes.
is
sir,
the-
definitely.
That is the digital transformation.
Yeah, process
Is
and
it?
digital transformation.
Yes, yes. Mr. Misra will get benefited over there. He was having some questions regarding digital marketing.
So nice of you,
Yeah, so
Dr.
there,
Jai Ho to Wasmi. Jai Ho.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. All
Thanks a
of
lot,
you.
sir.
Thank
Thanks a
you.
lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And you have a feedback.